is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. So happy to be joined today by Nick Mathis, who is Director of Business Development for VuWall and G&D. Topic of conversation is not just how VuWall and G&D are now sister companies and the synergies unlocked by that, but of course, command and control as well, aligning with our command and control deep dive, which will be all over both commercialintegrator.com and securitysales.com throughout the month of August, as well as in the August issue of CI plus SSI. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining me today. Really do appreciate you taking some time out.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to chat with you. And let's get right into it. As I alluded to at the outset, VuWall and G&D are now, of course, sister companies. They're under the same ownership. Do you want to talk a little bit about the synergies between the two brands and how it really kind of brings value to the market, this partnership does?
Yeah, absolutely. VuWall and G&D come from different camps, so to speak. One started as, a pure KVM solution company, and the other started as a pure video wall processing company. But over time, being in these mission critical control room type spaces, there was enough value and demand for the other kind of ingredient, that both groups started growing towards the same spot. Prior to this merge, G&D had some limited capacity to provide multi-view capabilities, and we had some limited capacity to provide KVM capabilities. So merging, it sort of joins what was already a Venn diagram, so to speak, where we can combine, two powerful solutions into one ecosystem to provide a really valuable, unified environment in mission critical control rooms.
Well, you mentioned that Venn diagram. You also mentioned KVM. So, what would you say is the extent to which overlap has existed in these offerings? Or would you say, really, from soup to nuts, this is just purely complementary, purely additive? It's just kind of a yin and a yang coming together?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of overlap. VuWall's capability to provide KVM was sort of remote or higher compression KVM. It's meant for video wall operations, which is kind of where we grew it out of, where, in a control room, you might have different dashboards or web pages or alert monitoring tools up on a video wall, and you need to go dismiss an alert or zoom in on a weather radar or scroll down on a Twitter feed monitoring, updates on a crash on a highway or whatever they need to do to interact with that group situational awareness content. That is kind of the how we grew our KVM capability, where G&D comes from a really high performance, ultra low latency, pixel perfect type of KVM. So it's much more complementary than it ever would have been competitive or overlapping. So it really, we exhibited this not too long ago at Infocom, and there was nothing but excitement from the people that saw it. No one was concerned about, how, this might disrupt projects that are already in course, or, how to choose one technology over the other. Everyone immediately saw the natural fit of this partnership.
Well, the partnership certainly is a natural fit, and I must attest, as someone who visited the booth at Infocom and also attended your partner reception in the evening after Infocom, one of the show days. The level of excitement, the level of enthusiasm was extremely high. I'm curious about, the joint solution you showed there, kind of the tangible technology developments that are the fruits of this partnership. Do you want to talk about some of those fruits, not just what has been realized so far, but what may soon be realized? If you can give us a little bit of a hint about the pipeline, complementarity of what you're doing together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still early days when it comes to merging technology companies, right? Our engineers have 7 months in the same sandbox so far to play together. So we have, limited development thus far. That being said, we've done quite a bit in that limited time. At Infocom, we showed the first joint encoder that can take a video output from a computer and a USB connection back to that computer and stream it to both ecosystems. So that's the first kind of suggestion at a truly unified environment, where maybe at an operator level, say in a power plant where they're looking at a distributed control system, or at SCADA charts where they need pixel perfect lines, or in an air traffic environment where a single pixel line is the difference between a flight being on course and off course. They need that precision at in front of the user, but up on a video wall, they're looking at that content from 10 or 20 feet back. They're looking at a mixture of content. They can have that high performance KVM right there at that desk, that local interaction, but they can have, still that content at nearly lossless quality up on the video wall, all with just a single piece of hardware doing the capture and transmission. In addition to that, we've done a bit of software development as well, where VuWall gets quite a bit of praise for our TRX software platform, this unified video ecosystem control tool. That's a really easy drag and drop interface for arranging video on desktop level, personal video walls, and group awareness situational video walls up in the front of the room. That interface, that web UI, can now control G&D KVM routing as well. So from a single interface, operators and administrators can do all of their permissioning and all of their video routing and control routing throughout that control environment, whether it be one control room or an entire building or campus of control environments at a power plant. This means that operators are seeing the correct information at the correct time, and that there's faster decision making in those environments. People get to spend a lot less time looking at the room and working with the infrastructure of the room, so to speak, and they can focus on the visual data that they should be focusing on.
Is so important. Having just written the command and control deep dive, speed of decision making, speed of action, operator efficiency, these are so critical to command and control environments. And it sounds like that is something you are really very, very focused on helping to facilitate. I also just want to kind of talk about command and control broadly. As I said at the outset, we're going to be focusing not just on the AV side, but also on the security side in that deep dive. And it seems like the combined technologies that G&D and VuWall bring to the table are going to not only enable operators, but also benefit AV integrators, IT integrators, security integrators. Pretty much everyone in the command and control chain are going to benefit from the synergies you're unlocking. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. These are, like we've talked about, they're complementary technologies, but now that they can work together easily, it can really reduce the amount of time it takes to come up with a complete design for a system, the amount of time it takes to deploy a system. It makes it easier to support those systems, both from an integration level where you're providing on-site support for your users, and for us as a manufacturer, if you end up needing to call VuWall or G&D, there's the same support team that can answer questions on both products. So for a larger portion of an entire control environment design, you're working with a single set of technology with unified control. So that provides a lot of value to those groups that are going out and designing and deploying these solutions, as they present them to their customers, as their engineers, have limited hours to come up with a design, and their programmers, only have the capacity to think about so many different ways to, build control for these rooms.
Single set of technologies with unified control. That's going to be very persuasive to a lot of people. And I really appreciate you, Nick, for joining me today, talking about command and control and talking about the incredible synergies that are being unlocked by VuWall and G&D coming together as sister companies under the same ownership. It's going to be transformative, not just for command and control, but broadly in the industry. So congratulations. Well done. And again, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. It is a very exciting time. I look forward to what's next.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Nick. Once again, Nick Mathis, Director of Business Development with VuWall and G&D. My name is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. Please do check out the Command and Control Deep Dive, which will be on commercialintegrator.com and securitysales.com throughout the month of August, as well as in our August print issue of CI plus SSI. Meantime, please do just keep an eye on our websites for more thought leadership content from industry leaders and true innovators, organizations like VuWall and G&D. Again, thank you for tuning in.